on the water, there are a lot of things that you need access to. The trouble is, if you haven't thought about it, if you don't have a life jacket with a lot of pockets or a small personal dry bag, you don't have easy access to any of the items you'll need while you're on the water. So let's talk about how you can manage your time on the water better.
Hey, real quick, right before we jump into this video, if you'd do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Also, thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you'd like to be notified of future videos, please hit that bell icon. Have a great day and enjoy this video.
Here's the challenge. There are a lot of things an individual, a boat crew, and a crew need access to while on the water or on the portage trail. In either place would not be an ideal time to open up a whale bag. For example, if you're in a canoe and you have to open the whale bag, what would happen at that moment if you rolled the canoe over? Okay, where would all your stuff go? Would it float away with the wind, or would it sink to the bottom of the lake? If you need access to equipment on a portage trail, now you have to take the time to take off the whale bag. First you need to know which whale bag to take off, okay? And then you have to find the item you're looking for, which, by the way, probably settled out to the bottom of the whale bag, which could mean unpacking the entire whale bag, okay? And then you got to get out your item and use it or not use it, and then put it all back together and continue on with the portage, okay? And the entire time you're doing that, you run the very real risk of having losing something. Not to mention the fact that your teammates are standing around with their whale bags on, or their canoes on their heads. Well, maybe not on their heads, but on their shoulders for sure. Okay? All right. So there's a better way. There's got to be a better way, and there is a better way. All right? So I'm going to discuss 6 different options that you have available to you. Okay? Before we talk about these options, let's take a look at all the things that you may need access to while on the water. All right, so here's the list of things that you're going to need access to on the water or on a portage trail. So Polar Pure for purifying water, bug spray. You might decide you want a head net for your bugs, sometimes especially if you're portaging a canoe. Sunscreen, to reapply sunscreen. Permits, if they're not stored in the map case. Extra maps, if you don't store those in the map case. Access to toiletries, such as toilet paper. You also may want access to the shovel, but that's typically kept in the kitchen. Female supplies, such as items you need to manage your period. Access to a GPS for finding yourself on the map or finding a portage trail or a campsite. Camera gear for documenting your trip. Small tree saw. Snacks or lunch. Binoculars for looking out across the lake and seeing if a campsite's occupied or not. And of course, if you brought fishing gear, access to fishing tackle. Now that is quite the list of stuff. The only thing I didn't mention was your rain gear and your puffy jacket. And let me be clear, your need for any one of these items, okay, is very dependent upon your circumstances, which always change. You may never need one or any of these items. Or you may need them all. So, let's go through the options. All right, option 1, the traditional method. Traditionally, all of these items were placed inside of a whale bag or carried in someone's pocket. Okay? Those aren't necessarily great options. Okay? If you just put loose items inside a whale bag, they'll tend to sift down inside the whale bag, and then you end up unpacking the whole thing. Okay? If you put it in someone's pocket, whose pocket is it in? Does it get lost? It can be uncomfortable. It's just not a good idea either. Okay? 2, the life jacket. If you bring your own life jacket, particularly a fishing style life jacket with a lot of pockets, then you could put a lot of these items in your life jacket. And carrying things in your life jacket is a great way for a lot of things, but as great as this is, it isn't always the best way, especially to carry larger items. And taking your own life jacket, or taking a life jacket that doesn't fit you and doesn't have pockets, well, none of that may be an option for you. Okay? So option 3. Everyone uses a 5-liter dry bag. Okay? A 5-liter dry bag is a great size for an individual, especially if you don't have a life jacket with pockets. The disadvantage of a 5-liter dry bag it's just another individual cost, and cost adds up after a while. Okay? It's another thing to manage on a portage at an individual level. Okay? And if you clip the dry bag directly in front of yourself on a portage, well, it'll start swinging and, well, that'll get uncomfortable. Okay? All right, option 4, a 10-liter dry bag. And remember, the 5 and 10 liters, these are approximate sizes. The actual size will vary depending on the manufacturer. And okay, so just use those as a rough guide, right? So a dry bag that's about 10 liters in size is typically large enough to hold all the items needed for a boat crew, even the larger items. Okay, I don't recommend a 10-liter dry bag on an individual level. It's just a little bit too big. And also for the same reasons, you don't want to clip it to the front of yourself. While on a portage trail, as the 5-liter bag, a 10-liter bag is just that much larger, so that much more uncomfortable. All right. But for a boat crew, it's easy to manage. Okay, it's just one more bag. You can hand carry that on a portage. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. All right, option 5. Bring a 10-liter dry bag, but just put it in the top of the whale bag. Okay, this will keep everything together in one spot, and all the little individual items won't fall down to be lost for the day. Okay, somewhere deep inside the whale bag. All right. Just remember, if you choose this option, make sure to put the 10-liter dry bag at the top of the whale bag, under the flap, inside the whale bag, but not inside the whale bag liner. So the same place you put your rain gear. Okay. This way, if you need to access to it on the water, and you happen to roll the canoe, the dry bag will float. Your whale bag has the liner closed, so that'll keep everything inside the whale bag, and the whale bag is clipped to the canoe. The only thing you need to worry about is the rain gear, and typically that'll float, especially if there's nothing in the pockets to make it sink. Okay. Also with this option, you don't have to hand carry anything or manage anything extra on a portage because it's inside the whale bag. Okay, option 6, the last option. All right. Collectively, I'm going to use this as taking a fanny pack or a day pack. Now, I've used a day pack at Northern Tier. I used one to carry a lot of camera gear. In that situation, I was also portaging a canoe. And I wasn't also carrying a food bag or anything else, so the day pack worked for me. That would have been very different and would have been a problem if my situation was different. Okay, so I'm not going to bring a day pack back to Northern Tier. Now, as for the fanny pack, it sounds great in theory, but I have some reservations. First, it's something I have to manage on a portage. Okay. On an individual level. Second, it's usually not waterproof. Okay, so that can be a problem. Third, if I leave it clipped in, if you rotate the fanny pack to your front while you're seated in the canoe, so all your stuff's right here, it's going to be a little awkward to get into. Just try that while you're sitting in a chair. And then I know it's hard to think about, but you could try that while sitting in a chair and thinking about that. Like you could be seating like that for hours, okay, with that right in front of you, so that could get uncomfortable. Fourth, if you wear the fanny pack with a hip belt on a well bag or a food bag, and you're going to be using a hip belt, okay, the fanny pack will be in the way, and that will be very uncomfortable. And five, if you throw it around your neck to move it on a portage, then that can be a big problem with vision, and you definitely don't want to trip and fall. So, all right, there are 6 different options available to you. How about some recommendations? Or my recommendation. Well, first, I still advocate bringing your own life jacket if you can. Okay? Remember, the Northern Tier life jackets don't have any pockets. Second, I would advise you to bring a 10-liter dry bag. Okay? At least one for each boat crew. And in a perfect world, the combination of a personal life jacket to hold your personal items and a 10-liter dry bag for the boat crew is, again, just about the perfect combination. Okay? And if you determine that once you arrive you want to do it differently, well, you haven't wasted anything. You just take the 10-liter dry bag and you put it in the top of the whale bag. To close, a personal dry bag is useful in a number of different ways. Okay? That being said, do you have to bring a dry bag, personal dry bag? Well, no, you don't have to. As mentioned in option 1, folks have been fumbling around and figuring out different ways to access and use the items they need on the water and on the portage trail for decades without them. Would I rather have a better option? Absolutely. Do I think it's a great idea to bring at least one 10-liter dry bag per boat crew? Absolutely. Especially if you use the Northern Tier life jackets. Okay? Do I think it could be a game changer for your crew, even if it just meant keeping it on top of your whale bag? Absolutely. So make a decision for your crew. Pile up all the stuff I mentioned, okay, by an individual, by boat crew, and by crew. Give it some thought, and then make the best decision for your crew. And with that, have a blessed day.
Hey, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you'd like to support this channel, remember, please subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends about it. Thanks for hitting that like button. Everything here is free. I want to give back to the community. I want to give to you everything here for free. I've been out in the outdoors for a long, long time, and it's great that I can be able to give all this information to you. That is what's most important to me. If you would like to give back, I do have a GoFundMe page set up, and you can follow the link. And if you'd like to, if you're a youth with your parents' support, I would gladly accept your donations. Thank you and have a blessed day.